That's right. That's right. Welcome out, everybody. Welcome out. This is that Boom Bap Breakfast right here on Black Power Media. This is the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Let me introduce you to your host today. You got Kalanji, Jama, Jam. You got Jackie, Lukma. You got Tierney, Cherie, and Kamal K. Franklin.
Yes, y'all. What's happening?
Morning.
Good morning.
Remix Morning Show. We're in the building. Yes. Everybody's looking bright and shiny today. How is everyone feeling today?
Just try not to get smacked. That's all. Just try not
to get smacked.
Try not to get smacked.
That's good. I'm glad you're trying not to get smacked, man. You know what I'm saying? This is, cats hopping on stage, smacking cats these days. Nah, I mean, y'all getting it started already talking about smacks. Right? I don't know.
Whether you like it or not, that's what folks gonna be talking about. It's like one of those crazy things. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
The celebrity distraction class strikes again.
Isn't it?
They did an excellent job this time. An excellent job.
Sidetracking of the slave. And it's crazy. We saw it coming. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know that,
I didn't see it coming.
We saw distractions coming.
I didn't see it. I didn't watch it. I didn't care.
Yeah.
I didn't know about it about the next day.
Work the next day, and I was like, for real?
Yeah.
In fact, talking to these dudes, I was like, what happened? Who did what? Who Chris? What? Who?
That's crazy.
Then, of course, I watched the smack like 12 times in a row. I was like, what the fuck just happened? I don't understand.
It's hard not to watch.
I think beyond the smack, I think the discussion and everyone trying to politicize it as if, you know what I'm saying, and make it about, protection and all of this other stuff. Like, get the fuck out of here. These are two rich Negroes. One who is very accepted in society. And the fact is, he laughed in the beginning, but he only laughed because of the fact, then he changed his mind because he saw his woman and he's like, look, I don't want to be on that red table talk shit again. So I got to go up there and smack the shit out of Chris.
That was his next logical step.
That's his mindset. You know
I think
this
is definitely going to be an episode of Red Table Talk, so I don't think that could be.
Nothing's going to stop this being an episode of Red Table Talk, which is, I got thoughts about that. Nobody's going to like them, but
I'm with you.
Yeah, I just think Will's I was like, you must be a nut, because that's I actually feel a little bad for. Chris Rock. Nobody gets. You got some he wouldn't have done it to a white comedian. He wouldn't have done it to some of the other black comics.
Well, he did slap somebody white before.
He smacked that white guy in France before.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Chris Rock smacking everybody and shit.
Wait. Who? Chris Rock slapped somebody?
No. Will Smith.
Will just open hand smacker. He likes to smack motherfuckers.
No, I think he deserved it. He tried to kiss him like on the
mouth.
Yeah.
That I agree with. I think
Will said, oui. Anyway.
He said, no.
No, oui. Anyway.
Oh Lord.
But that was that was ridiculous. This is like you said, sidetracking of the slave, round 22. But it is what it is. I felt bad for Chris too on the low though. Kamal, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that because it took a lot for him to. I don't know if he was scared dude was gonna stomp him out. You know what I'm saying? If he retaliated, but I'm sorry, man. You just can't just go around smacking grown men and expecting not to get nothing.
Yeah, I think he was shocked at first, but he handled. It shows that Will. I was gonna call him a couple of names, but I don't think you can really do that. But Will ain't got he a light puncher. Let's put it like that, because my man took it. It was like next joke or whatever.
Oh, it's so funny because people were like, "Yeah, Will from West Philly." I'm like, I'm sorry if that's your excuse. Then Will did not represent West Philly.
Definitely didn't represent.
I thought a smack is more. I actually heard this debate that a smack is more disrespectful than a punch.
Yeah, it is. Because that's in straight male world, right? Smack is considered less. Yeah, a punch is considered more manly to take than have somebody smack you, kind of thing.
Yeah,
then it's like you're a child or something like that. So
honestly, I've smacked a few men because You know what I'm saying? Because it's exactly to your point. It's like my attitude is, fuck you, fight me. You know what I'm saying? I want you to fight me, so I'm gonna slap you. I don't even want to knock you out. I want to treat you like get out of here. You know what I'm saying? So I feel bad now because it's like, you know, after seeing someone else get slapped, you know, I'm like, I don't want to be that guy slapping people. You know what I'm saying? I'm non-violent now.
I just feel like at the end of the day, none of these people, not Chris Rock, certainly not Will Smith, not Jada Pinkett Smith, not Denzel Washington and Tyler Perry, who coaching Negroes in the back. You know, calm down. You embarrassing. None of those people care about us. Not one.
Right.
Not one.
Yeah, it's all about how they look.
None of them took to that stage and raised, the easy, low-hanging fruit of, I don't know, the Biden administration shipping $13 billion off to the defense contractors for more weapons in Ukraine. That was supposed to be COVID relief money. Ain't none of those people raised that issue. And that's an issue that directly affects people who are not named Will Smith, Jada Pinkett, Denzel Washington, who are not invited to the Oscars. So yeah, I say let them duke it out on stage. Get mad, fight, roll around, rip your clothes off, slap, punch. I don't care because ain't nothing gonna change for us.
But you know, it's the sad thing about it. If they would have pulled a Marlon Brando when he was supposed to have gotten the 1972 Academy Award, or was it Oscar? Yeah, same shit. When he was supposed to have gotten it, and he sent the Apache sister up to accept it and talk about the mistreatment of natives. If they did some shit like that, then I would have been all for him. But on the flip side, just looking at it from another angle, we've heard Chris Rock at least speak out against racial issues in the past, right? Lightweight, you know what I'm saying? So I'm sure that there's some white folks that are like, yeah, smack that nigga. That's what he need, because they wanted to slap the shit out of him. But then again, Chris is like 57 years old as well. So it's like you got one cat 53, another cat 57, slapping each other in front of the whole world.
It's gonna be a quick fight. They're gonna get tired real fast.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
rich man fight.
Yeah, somebody hold me back. Somebody hold me back.
Yeah, hoping somebody hold me back.
And the interesting thing about, I'm glad you brought up that Marlon Brando thing, because when the indigenous sister was on the stage, John Wayne and Clint Eastwood had to be held back. No, John Wayne had to be held back by security because he wanted to go on stage and physically hurt her while she was talking. And Clint Eastwood is sitting in the audience mocking her. That's why I ain't never liked Clint Eastwood and his bullshit. He's always been a racist pig. So, I mean, John Wayne was about that life. I'm sorry. Marlon Brando was about that life. Will Smith, no. And can we not forget? Can we please not forget that the Oscar this man won for, that the movie this man won this Oscar for, was about a man who left his whole entire first family, acted like those kids that he had with his wife, the first wife, didn't exist, legit just acted like they were never born, had two other kids, and then propelled them to stardom. I understand that was a story that Serena and Venus wanted to tell about their father. But at some point, somebody needed to say, okay, we can't keep acting like this man did not have other children. And can we need to not celebrate the fact that he abandoned an entire bunch of kids, and y'all literally benefited from that. That's so, you know.
I ain't watched the movies. I don't know.
I want to point out too, because I heard some folks talking, you know, about Marlon Brando real quick, just to recap. Marlon Brando supported the Black Panther Party as well. In fact, when on April 6th, when Eldridge Cleaver and Lil Bobby Hutton was shot, and Lil Bobby Hutton was murdered, Marlon Brando called the Panther headquarters and offered to buy guns, and for the Panthers, and he actually spoke at Lil Bobby Hutton's funeral as well. So I'm not giving them no super credit, but that's a lot more that we could say than, for a lot of these folks that's jumping around here today.
Checks off on the John Brown box. He checks off on the John Brown box.
think
You
so.
buying weapons? I'm not mad at you.
Yeah.
You get a little pass. You get a little pass.
Yeah. But wanted to point that out because sometimes folks are like, "Oh man, you talking about this dude? Like, so what he put?" Listen, man, it's more than a lot of these other bastards did. But it's a sad song all the way around. We don't really give a fuck, and I'm glad that we can end it and put the nails in the coffin here at the Remix Morning Show. I tried to refrain from a lot of the chatter that I was seeing online yesterday. I was like, wow, folks are talking really, really crazy. I mean, they got so deep and it just became so many things. I'm like, wow, you'd have thought Will Smith was, coming to the OK Corral and duking it out against the Confederates or some shit. I'm like, okay, I see you, boy.
But
I was there for
say,
some of the jokes.
I felt like there was definitely this sensationalizing of, like a lot of the white scared folk just automatically like, oh, this violence and like, and then the response coming from us is always, we have to be careful how we look in front of them in certain places. I mean, I hate that conversation because
fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole
Right.
Oh, they make it so, yeah, because I know people who are like, oh, this is so embarrassing. Who's embarrassed?
To who?
I mean,
what these people do who don't know me, I'm not embarrassed by some of them completely just vile things that my own family members have done. Well, I'm certainly not going to be embarrassed by some strangers.
I'm wondering. I mean, but King said black folks had a 6-day memory. Right, when it came to aggression and whatnot, shit. I mean, it's less than that because we'll talk about 7 years ago was Oscar so white, everybody jumping up and down, yelling about that shit. Now all of a sudden, your black ass there fighting. A few years ago, you talking about Kaepernick kneeling. Now his little black ass or whatever ass he got running around talking about he want to play football again. Look, motherfuckers, make up your mind. If you gonna romp, then romp. If you're going to say we boycotting this, it's till we free. Not, you get some trinkets and it's all good.
I do notice, I feel like they've been throwing more black folks on the Oscars. I think as their ratings went down, it was like, it's turned it into a black show now. Essentially. That's getting some rise up there in the audience.
Yes, I think that's true. But I mean, I don't want us to ignore, I don't want us to dismiss the real problem with, the joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's hair. She does have alopecia. I don't know if Chris Rock knew that she had alopecia. Now, people are trying to project, whether he knew or not. Right. I don't know. I mean, people shave their hair. She had alopecia. The joke was not funny to her. Clearly, it looked like what's his face was laughing until he looked at his wife.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
It was.
And
like she about to bomb on me.
It was a fucked up joke if he knew that she had alopecia, but I don't know that he knew. So
even if he knew, I'm just like, even if he knew, look, this dude has turned, Will Smith has turned his life into an open media book. Everything about his life is in the media for him to make some commodification, some money off of. If he can't sit up in there and hear a joke about him or himself or his wife or something like that, then he's a nut. He's like, you're a nut in a hut, B. It's like you're literally getting 30, 40, $50 million. You're making that a year. And you're telling me the game that you signed up for, like some comic who makes jokes about everybody and everything, says something about Jada, and that means you got to jump on stage and smack a motherfucker. It's like, you've lost your mind. Well, that's why I was like, he gets no quarter. I was like, there's no rationale that says that you should be jumping up on stage because somebody said something who gets paid to say something, and that's what they do.
Not only that,
signed up for it. You're making $30 million a year. Shut the fuck up. Grin and bear it.
But if you're gonna get slapped by a rapper, you're gonna get slapped by Will Smith. I mean, like, come on, son. How you get slapped by Will Smith? Fresh Prince, motherfucker. I don't give a damn how big he got. You know what I'm saying? Will Smith put his goddamn hands on me. It's a misunderstanding. And I ain't talking no tough shit. I'm just like, come on, man, you can't slap. Look, if Balagoon slapped me on stage and shit, you know what I'm saying? Even if I gotta go like this, you gotta do something. You can't just go out like that, man. Come on, man. Damn, Will. I mean, Chris. But anyway, we gotta go to the ear doctor because this is ridiculous. So maybe the ear doctor could balance it out. Ear doctor, where you at, man?
Hey, I'm in the ATL right now. We about to give y'all that weather and let y'all know what it is on this side and your side, maybe if you around. So let's get to it right here on the Remix Morning Show.
Yes.
All right. What's good, everybody? Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. And in case you don't know, at this time, we want to make sure that y'all like what you seeing. Hit that like button. If you haven't subscribe already. Go to patreon.com, drop some change in the bucket for Black Power Media so we can keep this movement going forward and all that. Notification bell, ding, ding. Let's go so you can know all the new shows coming up. All right. So let's get to the weather. As you see, it's a beautiful day in the A right here. But let's start off in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Bridgeport, Connecticut, where Kalonji is from, his stomping grounds. You got a high of 40 degrees today. Pretty cold up there. I'm glad I'm not in Bridgeport. Now let's take it down to the ATL. We got a high today of 71. Beautiful day in the A as usual. Next, let's take it over to Denver, Colorado. That's right, Denver, Colorado. Big up to all my people driving around in Denver right now. You got a high today of 53 degrees. Next, let's take it to Kingston, Jamaica. Yes, we're going to have a high today of 89 degrees. Damn, I wish I was down there on the beach chilling in Kingston today. It would be beautiful. Now, let's take it to the motherland because there is no other land. Let's take it to Johannesburg, South Africa. They have a high today of 74 degrees. And now let's take it to Sakur, Pakistan. Hope I said that right. You know how I do. They got a high today of 108 degrees. Now that's hot. That's hot, but it wasn't as hot as Jada was when your boy Chris said what he said on stage. Now, real quick, I'm not on anybody's side on here. But I would say this. My thoughts on this whole thing is, first of all, why are they even there at the Oscars? They were supposed to be boycotting due to Concussion movie, but yet you find out you get a award and you show up front row to get your award. What happened to the boycott? All right. Second, I hope that this changes the culture of roasting people at award shows. I mean, people are coming to get awards, not to get roasted. And then you know you're going to get roasted if you sit up front. Okay, where they at? Right up front. Smart. All right, so then this comes into the question of when masculinity. What does a man in this position do that's been called soft majority of his career? His wife is dealing with stuff where, you know, the entanglement and blah, 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 and she turns and looks at you like, yo, this dude already done cracked on me last awards, talking about why is we even talking about Jada for this boycott, and now I'm up here again getting roasted. Honey, you gonna do something about this, or you gonna sit back and laugh? So the male ego trying to show masculinity. Hey, that's what we do. When we get in our feelings, we act out. Now let's stop acting like we don't act a fool when we get in our feelings. Thirdly, this was a production. I mean, Will Packer and his whole black production team came to do it. Actually, it looked like a Hollywood slap. It didn't even look real to me. But who knows? Who knows? This is all entertainment. And I think that's what we need to keep in mind, that this is entertainment. We need to look at these entertainers as who they are, not leaders, and look at them as examples, what to do and what not to do. That's all I got to say on this topic. Now let's get back to the morning crew. You know how we do.
Hey man, two things. One, shout out to Lapita. Lapita is up there looking like a pure African queen, looking straight royal. Gorgeous. You know what I'm saying?
Gorgeous.
You know, motherfucker Will Smith, Jada, and Chris Rock, the Oscars, all that. Let's start with that. Secondly, thank you for that Bridgeport joint. When you put Bridgeport and Johannesburg in the same damn section, you want to something here, Doctor. I'm gonna just say that. You know what I'm saying? Act like y'all know Bridgeport in the building. That's right. Let's go. Anyway, proceed.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not on nobody's side. I just sit on the fence and watch this whole shit go down. Like, it's entertainment, and we gotta stop looking at these dudes as leaders and stuff like that, and be like, oh, they're entertainment. Look at them as examples. What they did right, what they did wrong. How can we use that in our life? Point blank.
I think there was an episode of Bel Air. That was like a little preview for the new Bel Air joint. You know what I'm saying? They just showing you what's gonna happen later on. Like, come on, get out of here. Anyway.
So that's it on my stance. Y'all can get to the news or whatever. I'll catch y'all next break.
No doubt. Shall we slap at the mat?
We're speaking of slapping, right?
Let us
slap the mat. Yes. Welcome to the Remix Morning Show. Shout out to the Ruba in the chat today. He said Will wouldn't slap 50 Cent even if he commented on Jada's extramarital sex life on stage. I'm with the Ruba on that one.
Can I just say, maybe I'm a prude, but I honestly don't care about anybody's relationship. You can have any kind of relationship you want, have an open marriage, do it fine. But when you put all your business out there on Front Street like that, and you have a little show and you expose all your entanglements, this is some of the fallout. I do what you want, be an adult. I'm all for freedom and do all the things. But if you want to make it, if you make it a topic of conversation, it will be a topic of everybody's conversation. That's just
therapy for everyone. Therapy for everyone. That's
true.
But I hope that the one thing that I'm really hoping for is that the thing that saddens me is that we keep falling into whatever issue the state gives us. You know what I'm saying? We keep falling into whatever rich white folks are talking about, poor white folks are arguing about. You know what I'm saying? We're debating all this shit. None of our black asses would never even know where the Oscars are being held if they don't announce them. You know what I'm saying? None of us will get a ticket. We won't, you know what I'm saying? We be lucky. I mean, most of us keep it funky. I didn't even know the motherfucking Oscars was on. And most people I know don't, because we don't give a damn about the Oscars. You know what I'm saying? Fuck Oscar and Oscar Mayer. Anyway, let's go. Sorry.
Don't bring baloney into this. What baloney?
It's all baloney. That's the point. This is all baloney.
What did we ever do to you?
Anyway, animal rights. Now, chop. Does anyone, Tierney, want to get it started talking about some international news?
Sure. I mean, did you all talk last week about the royal tour in the Caribbean?
Well, I wasn't here last week, so.
Okay, so. Okay, yeah. I mean,
started.
so some interesting stuff happened with the British royal family. So I'm gonna share my screen. But essentially, they did a number of tours throughout the Caribbean. So of course you have Britain and the Commonwealth, which is basically the modern manifestation of colonialism, a little bit dialed back because technically those are sovereign countries, but it's a legal relationship, it's a ceremonial relationship where basically the quote unquote royals, the English royals, not my royals, but will go to these countries and we've seen it. The red carpet will be rolled out. They'll get these welcoming ceremonies. They'll go to the poor villages that are literally like poor because of your your empire and the colonization of these people. And photo ops, things like that. So that's the normal. What happened last week was kind of unexpected for William and Kate. So they were the ones that were acting as the ambassadors of the royal family. They went to, I believe, Jamaica was one that had straight up like protests, like on the ground, and also Bahamas, and I believe might have been one of the other countries. Actually, the government refused to pay for their trip or pay for their stay, which is something that's also done typically. So it's interesting the response coming back from this, and it's been all over the press that this is a disaster in the eyes of the royal family. But basically, they realize that this is winding down. So this is the English Prince William. He said, I honestly think the royal family probably recognizes that time is running out with their relationship with the realms, meaning they understand that, you know, it's kind of a weird time right now for them because they want to keep, you know, business as usual as far as having this international notoriety. But at the same time, Africans are more and more becoming conscious of like, okay, this actually not just happened to us in the past, but we're still dealing with the consequences. And not one of you European colonizers has even given a cent of reparations. Anytime that there's anything given, it's always basically something that's going to not use the word reparations, but basically try to be a payoff to certain groups or something, or some type of aid package. But when we demand reparations for the crimes that were done against us, you all want to basically skirt against that and avoid any legal processes. And so we're still dealing with the violence from colonialism. And you know, Britain's probably the worst, although it's hard to quantify, you know, who was the worst colonist, France, Britain, Portugal. But, you know, given just the amount of wealth that they stripped from Africa and the Caribbean, the Americas, you know, with the East Dutch Indian Company. I mean, that was the richest company in history. So it's just ridiculous, you know, at this point that we're still having this conversation about the royals. I think that we should have been, you know, severed all these ties. But I'm very encouraged to see that at least the people on the ground, we always know that the government officials are going to be taking their time, but the people on the ground are very clear that they recognize the colonial history. They recognize that their demise is directly linked to the prosperity of Britain and England. And they want some type of legal reparations. And so, you know, I guess we're happy for that movement moving forward inside of the African diaspora.
You know, that big old, what's the name of that diamond that the Queen of England has that is like the largest? It's not the Hope diamond, it's another one that is the largest, one of the largest mined diamonds in the world, came from the continent. They should take that. Take that.
Oh, yeah.
Take
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Take the crown. Take the crown. All the jewels in the crown. Take the throne. Take the scepter. Take all of that. The cape. Take the palace. Take it. I mean,
and slap her ass too, since you're slapping people.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna have a conversation about slapping, let's. I mean, because it makes no sense. It is insane that another generation of people. And this is where I look at these folks, the Harrys and the Kates and the Megans and the Williams. They're whole new generations. They're millennials or whatever. I guess that they're in that age range, and they're still carrying on these colonial, very racist traditions.
Yeah.
But we were supposed to look up to them, especially Meghan, as some type of paragon of whatever, like we won something when she married into that family of colonial thieves and rapists. Right. And so that these grandchildren of the colonial thief and rapist grandma, they're still carrying on these tours, demanding that their former colonial subjects feat them and pay them homage as they stand in their, you know, little motorcade in their car. And people are like, no, it's not like that anymore. So these kids who are supposed to be charting a better path, they should be the ones who should have said, no, we're not doing this anymore. We're not doing any more of these tours. This is ridiculous. We're not doing it. But we see that this, you know, this idea that they are somehow more progressive than their parents and grandparents, it's bullshit, because they continue to carry on these traditions. So, you know, I salute the people in the Caribbean who are standing against these ridiculous tours and, you know, showing up and saying, where our money at? That's, you know.
Yeah, on a small level, my first reaction to what you said was, I had no idea that they were supposed to be paying for the hotels and the stay over of these people who are taking money out of your, and I'm paying for you to come. I'm paying for you to come rip me off. I mean, it's a small thing, but it just like stuck in my head. It was like, what do you mean they pay for the hotel too? The British can't give up a dime for the Queen to travel. So I mean, that's just a minor thing, but I mean, obviously, this is long overdue, right? This is something that I think many of us would have thought should have happened in the 60s and 70s during the independence movement, but a lot of countries sort of acquiesced and had sort of that peaceful sort of separation where they agreed to remove, again, direct colonialism and accept neo-colonialism. And I think some of that even is starting to melt away. And I agree, that's a great thing. But then the question becomes sort of what next? And so after saying, you know, we're removing you the symbolic gesture, which is a great gesture of like, we're not going to have you be our sort of formal head of state. It's you're right. Where are the demands for reparations? Where's the reordering of the economy to make sure that people are getting the resources from whatever natural resources these countries have, as opposed to going into sort of these big capitalist corporations who then get to take it, extract the wealth, and put it back anyway in the British hands, in the American hands, in the French hands. So I think those, you know, hopefully those movements too are happening on the ground. And you never know what might spark somebody. So I celebrate the fact that people are now putting in your heads like, yeah, this relationship is wrong. Like, why are we honoring these folks who actually enslaved us and brought us here to work for them? We broke away and became free, but yet we still take on their traditions and keep their traditions and make their folks our leaders. It's like, so yeah, I celebrate it, and it's all about what the next steps are.
And this is the difference between revolutionary reform. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, well, we're not gonna call this ass whooping an ass whooping no more. We're just gonna call it an education. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, I mean, it is what it is. It's like, you know, do we abolish the shit wholeheartedly, or do you accept this new what do you call it? New with the youth, and when they're coming in and they're saying, okay, boom, we're more progressive. You know what I mean? So we're not gonna lynch you anymore. We're going to just you know, poison you. You know what I'm saying? But either way, you still gonna, you know, live under the realm. But anyway, man, you know, that's white folks. But go ahead.
Yeah, and just to add one more thing that I didn't know until recently. So one of the brothers that's connected with WCC, this brother named Quincy, he's in Trinidad. He's actually in prison right now, and we'll probably have to interview him at some point to try to raise some money for him. But he made me aware that literally the Commonwealth is also still a legal relationship, because a country like Trinidad, which is known as having people who never were convicted, like people who just were charged, you know, just an allegation, sitting in jail for like 20 years. And this horrible backlog of people who never even got to come to court and, you know, get to plead their innocence. The only way, if the courts are taking too long domestically, only way that you can try to speed it up is you have to appeal to the British Crown. So literally, like, people who are sitting in jail, they'll write the Queen of England to, you know, please, you know, look at my case. So there's still this legal relationship, which also shows that you're maintaining this relationship for what? Because you have countries that are still like neo-colonial states, grossly abusing the people, abusing their rights, you know, no right to due process at all happening there. So you're maintaining it, clearly not for the people. Clearly you're not even applying your same law inside of these territories. You're basically getting to receive all the benefits of colonialism. So I think it's just another way for us to understand that neo-colonialism is literally just colonialism. A modern manifestation, it only goes one way. There's no two-way benefit to these relationships, and that's why we have to really abolish it.
No doubt, no doubt. Jackie, what's going on in Colombia?
So it is very important news in Colombia today, because there is an election, I believe, and this election is particularly important because the left coalition, it's called the Historic Pact, and it is a coalition of Gustavo Petro, and that's this guy, And Francia Marquez, that's this sister right here, who are the unity candidates of the left-wing coalition that are slated to actually win the election in May 29th. I got my months wrong. Slated to actually win the election against the right-wing, white supremacist, racist, violent government of Ivan Duque in Colombia. Let's see, according to the latest polls, and this article was from March 24th, their ticket of progressive forces is favored to win the presidential elections on May 29th, not March 29th, apologize for that, with about 47% of the voting preference. So that is really great. Francia Marquez is a lawyer and an environmental leader. She is a native of Cauca, a region in the Colombia Pacific. The Pacific coast of Colombia is where most, if not all, of the large section of the Afro-Colombians live. She got 786,000 votes and was the third most voted for pre-candidate among all the options from all the tickets that were held on the 13th. It is very important because she is an activist for environmental rights for Afro-Colombians and indigenous Colombians, and she is also working for the reparation rights of Afro-descendant Colombian communities, that's a whole amazing ongoing struggle in Colombia. And of course, Francia in particular is a threat to the Duque government because of her activism, because of who she is, because she is from one of these Afro-Colombian communities that the usually white right-wing governments have tried to destroy, right along with the indigenous communities in Colombia. So now she is getting death threats. She's gotten death threats before, but they have intensified. She said that, and this just happened Sunday, slander and racist demonstrations were not enough. In less than a month, they have threatened me with death twice. She tweeted that, and she's talking about the Black Eagles, which is a paramilitary organization that is connected with the Duque government. And of course, the Duque government has done nothing about the violence that these people have committed against folks before. We don't expect them to do anything about the death threats that they have issued against her. It's important to know that the United States, under the Biden administration in particular, sends hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Duque government for military support, for police support, under the guise of carrying out this peace agreement that the Duque government allegedly made with the communities that were involved in the national strike and the uprising that actually started in Buenaventura in 2019 or 2017, I think. But that was all on surface. It was all on the paper. The government of Colombia has not stopped its repression against Afro-Colombian people and communities. It has not stopped its violence and repression against indigenous communities and people. So the presidency, the election of the progressive pact is of Petro and Marquez is extremely important to Afro-Colombians and indigenous Colombians. And that's why Ivan Duque and his government want that stopped. They do not want them to win, and they're going to do everything they can to make sure that they don't. So we need to keep an eye on Colombia because it is very, very important for the struggle of Afro-descended people in that country. Venezuela is right across the border, literally over the mountains. If you're in Buenaventura and Pianguita, you can there's a mountain range, and right across the mountains there's Venezuela. So this election could have implications to countries that are bordering Colombia and the relations that those countries have with the United States, because certainly the relationship that the Colombian government would have with the United States under a Petro Marquez government would be different. And it would mean something different for the Afro-descended and indigenous communities in those surrounding countries as well. So this is a very important election, but we definitely have to keep eyes on Colombia and keep eyes on our sister, Francia Marquez, to make sure that she is protected and safe.
Really quickly, I think one of the most important things from a foreign policy perspective or international relations perspective is that you're right. Colombia's been one of the bulwarks of supporting U.S. imperialism and U.S. entree into places and destabilizing places like Venezuela. So for Colombia to potentially flip and be something that's more akin to being in the left camp or the socialist camp would be huge, just because it lessens the ability of the United States to directly wreak havoc not only on Venezuela, but within Colombia itself. And so, again, you never know what politicians do once they get elected, or people do once they get elected. But I do understand that the person running for President Petro has a history of left-wing struggle, armed struggle. So it sounds like at least the politics run deep. So I'm encouraged, and I think we should be encouraged, like you said, watch closely, because this could be another ability to sort of realign what's happening in South and Central America, and have the U.S. pull back on some of this sort of overt imperialist machinations.
Yeah, I'm encouraged too to hear all this. I'm always nervous when it comes to, for some reason, definitely South Central America. I'm always nervous when it comes to these death threats, because a lot of them become actualized. And it kind of brings up the question of, like, where do we get protection even when we win elections, even when we're legitimately elected by the people? One question, I've debated and I don't know the answer to, honestly, is does the American empire have to be destroyed as a prerequisite to us actually being able to be sovereign inside of these types of countries, for us even able to have these types of coalitions have a long-term effect, as opposed to the normal interventionist, we have to go in and rescue the people because this dictator is doing these things. That's one question I'll struggle with, but definitely keeping my eyes on this story. I'm going to keep my prayers for her because she clearly needs it.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is that when I went to Colombia last year, and Colombia is like one of the top 5 on my list of top 5 countries for me to expatriate to in the next few years. Even with the repression, anywhere our people are, there is struggle. There really is struggle, but it feels different there. It looks different there. I think because people who are the targets of U.S. imperialism understand U.S. imperialism much more than those of us who are living in the core of U.S. And we live in it, so we don't even understand that we are targets of it as well. But these folks do, because there is, and not to say that there is not a class issue among that, because that exists everywhere, but we have to understand that what we knew about Colombia came from the practically nationwide general strike in 2019, I think it was. But in Buenaventura, which is a largely Afro-Colombian city on the port, because the port of Buenaventura is there in that city, and that port receives 75% of the tax revenue, basically, of the entire country. But the people in the city were living in absolute poverty. So all of this money was flowing through this port, and those people were getting none of it. And I think this was in 2017. Someone correct me on the dates, but the protest started in the Afro-Colombian city of Buenaventura, where they literally shut the port down. They shut the bridge from the city to the main highway that goes to the rest of the country down, and they held it against the deployment of the Colombian Air Force, Army, Navy, and paramilitary forces for 22 days. So that's where the protests began, because people in these coastal regions and the indigenous people in the mountains got sick and tired of the Colombian government making all of this money and giving them absolutely nothing. So, you know, it was important to see people who look like us fighting against an imperialist adjacent white supremacist post-colonial government in Colombia, and seeing the struggles they continue to have. And it should help us. It certainly helped me recognize that I cannot take these elections that happen in countries like Colombia and the struggles that people who are involved in the political process in these countries for granted. We cannot. So your point is absolutely right, Tierney. When these people get death threats, it's not like, oh, well, this is just some random thing. No, this is a very serious matter. So we really do have to continue to keep an eye on Colombia to make sure that they know that the world is watching.
Hey, speaking of assassinations and people that look like us and resistance as a whole, we will have attorney Ezeli Danto on tonight on Riot Starter TV at 7 p.m. And we'll be talking about everything from Haiti, what's going on out there now, the assassinations, to Ketanji Brown Jackson and you know, what she means to Black women, symbolism. We're going to be talking about the Ukraine and Russia and a whole lot more. If you all are not familiar with Ezeli Danto, you need to tap in at 7 p.m. tonight. She is definitely not a kind speaker when it comes to imperialism. So make sure you all check in. And, you know, we're going to get down 7 p.m. tonight. Riot Starter TV right here on Black Power Media. I think we got time for one more story before we break. Anybody want to tap in on that, or no?
Well, what else is going on in the news that any of us care about? I mean, that's not Oscar related.
Oh, I was actually thinking our Atlanta folks, because I was listening to the radio on the way to drop my son off. They're talking about how, I don't know names, but I guess the Republican guy is kind of getting a stronghold or 4 points ahead or something like that. So I actually was expecting an update from you all.
You talking about Purdue?
Some black guy that's a sellout. It was
excuse me. Oh, you must be talking about Herschel Walker.
Yeah, him. They said that he's
Herschel Walker is up in the polls.
Oh yeah, hold on. Let me pull up something on
Herschel Mushmouth Walker.
Oh, stop it! Y'all not gonna talk about
what?
Herschel.
You're not gonna talk about Herschel.
We're gonna definitely talk about Herschel. Let me see if I can pull up Herschel black ass. Hold on, I got something on Herschel. If I can tap into it. Damn, where's this thing at? Anyway, I have a story on Herschel, and for some reason, the Herschel joint isn't picking up. But Herschel Walker spoke a few days ago, and he said he's tired of hearing about CTR. And everybody like, what the fuck is CTR? So he said he was trying to say critical race theory. Instead of CRT, he said CTR. I'm sick and tired of hearing about this CTR. We don't need CTR. I wish I could pull the video up, man. The link is broken or something, but this motherfucker right here, boy, is. I mean, you talking about bumping his head?
I think I have it.
You have it?
Oh, pull it up.
I think so. Let's see. Let me see.
That man said he wants CTR out of school, boy. What the hell is CTR? At first, I thought he was talking about CPR. I'm like, we want people to die. Like, damn,
Herschel is a classic example of somebody who's taking this bootstrap thing to the next level.
People want to ask me all the time when I'm running. I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of them wanting to teach CTR in school, critical race theory. Can you tell me what that means? We're Americans. We're not black. We're not white. We're American.
I hope you heard that. Did you hear it?
We definitely heard that.
It sounded like he said PPR or PTS.
Yeah,
I think he has PTS.
Yeah,
or
UPS.
something.
I don't know what the fuck you talking about. He just said any letters.
I was like, is it
ABC.
CPR? He's like, I'm tired of CPR.
I'm tired of
CPR. I'm tired of PTS. I mean,
do you know what that means? Not only does he not know what actual critical race theory means, that he definitely doesn't know what CTR means. And nobody in the audience knew what he meant either. They were like, what?
Like VCRs? Do we still use
that? Like, I'm tired of teaching PMS in school. The fuck is you talking about, dog? Yeah, so that's what's going on in politics here in the state of Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Case, thank you for sharing that with us, Tyranny, reminding us of that malarkey. We know that also Stacey Abrams is suing because she's trying to move forward with campaign fundraisers, so on and so forth. And they're throwing all kinds of blocks up against her because they don't want her in the mix, of course. And, you know, for obvious reasons, you know, she may mess around and become the first black governor and the first black woman governor and the first woman governor altogether of Georgia. And we know that, you know, they're not having that. It doesn't mean anything to the natives here because we're used to having black faces in high places on a local level. So, you know, it's nothing for us. You know, it's like, you know, Ketanji, Kamala, Stacey, whatever.
It's just they can move on to the next letter in the alphabet. Bring out the L's now, because they're gonna be exactly the same. LaShawn's, Laquan's, you know, to throw Latifah in there. It's not gonna matter if they're.
Well, you got Letitia up in.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. But
they already started on the L's.
They already started on the L's. But
how dare you?
Speaking of the L's,
it won't be a Luke Bond. But anyway, go ahead.
Never. Now, you have permission to slap me if I ever
I'm not
show up
violent.
in politics with those folks. No.
Yeah.
But speaking of L's, taking an L, did you know that the Black News Channel is no more? Yes. It is no more. Shut down. Oh, I hate these ads. Black Enterprise.
I told some of the people to come to Black Power Media, but nah, they wanted to roll with the little, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. The Indian billionaire.
Yeah. So, you know,
who else would start a Black News channel but an Indian billionaire? It just makes perfect sense.
Yes, of course.
Why not? Apparently they were up for 2 years. I did not know they were in operation for 2 years because I honestly never watched anything on the Black News channel. I couldn't tell you what was on there. I'm sorry, I guess. They were based in Tallahassee, Florida. And they had to shut down because the company of major stakeholder and Jacksonville Jaguars owner Shad Khan declared bankruptcy. Yeah. Okay. So there you go.
So is BPM like the last black owned network? I mean, BET's not. Was that BNC? I mean, and I saw the other day that Mark Lamont Hill, shout out Mark Lamont Hill, he tweeted, because he's with BNC, he tweeted that dude didn't want to give them their checks the other day. So I hope y'all got y'all checks. I mean, dude not only shut shit down, he tried to hold the money back. And that ain't a cool thing. You know what I'm saying?
It's not cool at all. I mean,
man,
I'm not going to make a whole lot. I'm not going to clown, you know, journalists not getting paid, because God knows. With the repression that's going on, you know, we wake up every day like, did they shut us down yet? We have friends who work for RT who have been out of job for, you know, almost 2 months now, and because of this. So I'm certainly not, you know, making light of journalists and people losing their jobs.
Yeah, but we do think that thank you, Kamal. We do.
You can do that, Kamal.
I'll make light. When it's my turn, I'll make light.
You go ahead.
Hey, look, man. Well, see, Roland already threatened to slap somebody over here. So you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be on stage and Roland Martin rolls his ass up on stage, because let's just know that I will not be Chris Rock. I'll be Plymouth Rock, and I drop on that motherfucking head. But anyway, We're gonna take it.
First of all, Roland ain't gonna move that fast. Okay, I'm sorry.
Anyway, we'd like to thank you all for checking us out. Tierney, you will be what's going on in your world, because we know that usually disappear like magic when that 9 o'clock hour comes.
I usually do. But I'll probably this week be talking more about this, the British Royals and the Commonwealth and the colonial relationship there. So that's something people can look out for, as well as just general updates of what's going on throughout the diaspora on We Charge Colonialism TV on YouTube.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, we will see you in a few. We got the Ear Doctor coming up, and you guys stick around. We have a guest coming on talking about a very important issue taking place in Canton, Ohio. So stay tuned. Remix Morning Show, Ear Doctor, what's good?
He's at the beach. And
oh yeah, I had to come down to Jamaica. Y'all, I told y'all what the weather was down here.
Okay, Jamaica Queens. All right.
Yeah, we're doing an artist spotlight, so I had to come and meet the artists so we can, talk about some things. So let's get to it.
All right.
Okay. One love.
Yeah. What's good, everybody? Welcome out once again to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. And as you can see, I'm down in the beautiful islands of, Jamaica. So we down here chilling right now. And I wanted to talk about a certain artist. Since it is Woman History Month still, I had to give it up to this sister, especially when we're talking about a lot of people from the past that did their thing. Let's talk about somebody that's doing their thing now, an upcoming person that's doing their thing now. Let's give it up for Coffee. That's right. Coffee is also known as Michaela Simpson, better known as Coffee, Jamaican reggae singer, songwriter, rapper, DJ, guitarist. She's from the Spanish town, Jamaica, and she released her debut back in 2017 called Burning. In 2019, she signed to Columbia Records. She hit them with her EP, Rapture, and won the Grammy Award. Back to these awards. Grammy Award for Best Reggae Album and the 62nd Annual Grammy Awards, making Coffee the youngest person and only woman to be awarded in the Best Reggae Album category. That's right. She came up, like I said, from her mom being in church, 7-day evangelist, being in church, hearing the singing. She picked up the guitar around 12 years old and started learning how to play it and singing songs. Her inspirations are Prodigy. You got what is it? What's his name? Supercat. You got Supercat. You got Chronics. Different artists that inspired her. Coco T. And she's been putting it down pretty much. One of her biggest songs right now is Toast. And she got more coming. She actually has her first album that just dropped in March, which is called Gifted. So go check Coffee out. Some of her singles, like I said, is Rapture, Toast, Ragamuffin. Ragamuffin, she talks about what's going on in the community and how to uplift and the gun violence that's going on. So check her out. That is Coffee, in case you didn't know, right here. And thanks for everybody that tuned in this Sundays, that came to and checked out Sundays with me and DJ Knots. We got to throw some B-side songs on. Appreciate the love. I don't know what I'm doing this Sunday, but stay tuned. And that's what it is right here for your artist spotlight. Now let's take it back to the Remix Morning crew. Now we do. Hey. Yeah.
Nice.
That was dope.
Yeah, that sister right there is going to do big things. She's only 22 right now.
She's 22.
Yeah. So she got some big things coming her way.
Big things. Okay.
Big things are going. And that's what it is. That's the artist spotlight. And if we get up to 250 today, I will do a mix. That's right. We moved it up to 250 viewers for a mix at the end of the show. So let's get there, y'all.
Invite your friends.
No doubt. Checking out the Remix Morning Show. Make sure you let your folks know that we are on Tuesday through Thursday from 8 a.m. Eastern to 10 a.m. Eastern. Yes.
You forgot.
I did.
It was a pause. I was like,
Man, I was hoping someone helped me and shit. I'm sitting there, I'm like, what time do we go off? But yeah, definitely, appreciate Ear Doctor with his artist spotlight. We have a special guest. We're going to talk about a serious situation that's going on. So I want you all to stay tuned right now. There was a situation in Canton, Ohio, where a brother by the name of James Williams was shot and killed by police. We have his wife on board today. So I want you all to stick around and, learn what's going on in Canton and see how we can assist. Remix Morning Show. We'll be right back at you. Peace. How you doing? Marquita Williams, how you doing today?
Good morning, Kalanji. How are you? I'm fine.
Okay. Glad to see you on board. Welcome to the Remix Morning Show.
Thank you.
We hate to bring you on under these particular circumstances, but hopefully with our audience and the support of our viewers, we can assist from afar. So we understand that you're the wife of James Williams, 46-year-old who was murdered by police on New Year's Eve, going into New Year's Day. Can you give us some backstory about what's going on so we can get familiar?
Yes, it was actually New Year's Day. My husband was in his backyard, which was enclosed 6 feet privacy fence. You couldn't see in it, and you couldn't see out it. He was out there shooting for New Year's. 12:06, he got shot by the police. He didn't even know who shot him. I didn't even know who shot him until after the fact. The police officer never did say, put the gun down, police, stop, anything. And even furthermore, what makes it worse is that the police officer surveyed my husband. He was on the porch of my house. He surveyed my husband, come in the house and put the gun down. You had ample opportunity to knock on the door and say, hey, stop shooting in the air. You can't do that. That's illegal, or whatever you want to say. I don't know. He could have prevented it from happening, but he didn't do that. It's like this officer played Call of Duty with my husband's life. After you witnessed him putting the gun down, you had time to come to the door, knock on the door, announce yourself, but instead you waited for him to go back outside to his fenced-in privacy yard and shoot some more and run over there and shoot into the fence. Not knowing who's back there. Kids could have been back there. Anybody. I could have been back there.
So there was no announcement at all. It's just,
The announcement did not come until after he shot my husband, and we didn't even hear the announcement police because we was already inside the house at that point. When he got there, he came with no lights on. He was posted on the body cam. It states that he was supposed to be reporting to the 1700 block of 10th Street. When he seen the gunshots and the gun muzzle flashes from my husband shooting inside the privacy fence, he stopped his car there with no lights. He never had lights on.
And just fired into the through the fence.
Correct. After he seen my husband come in the house and put the gun down, he witnessed all of this from standing on my porch, which my daughter noticed somebody standing on the porch, but she really wasn't paying attention. But she noticed a white man standing on the porch looking through the window that particular night when this happened.
So he's on the front porch.
Yes.
Looking through the window.
Correct.
So he couldn't see back behind the fence at all.
No, it's a 6 feet privacy fence. You can't see it unless you're over 6 feet, and this officer isn't nowhere near 6 feet.
That's insane. So what was the response from so your husband is shot. I understand he stumbles in. Is that correct?
Correct.
What takes place?
When he gets shot, like I seen him stumble 2 times, so automatically know you ain't got hit twice because you stumbled back twice. He stumbled back in. He was able to make it up to the basement stairs, through the kitchen, into the living room. Before he even made it up in the kitchen, he told me, he said, I've been hit, I've been shot. When he got to the living room, His nephew was there, my cousin was there, and our kids was in the living room. And he said, I've been shot. They shot me. And he just leaned down to the ground and laid there and made gurgling noises until he passed away.
So at this point, you didn't know that the police shot him. You just knew that he
No,
was shot.
we didn't know who shot him. We just knew that he was shot at this point. At that point, when he came in and told me that I was right there when everything happened. I was standing behind him in a doorway, holding the door open.
Yeah.
When he got shot, I came in with him and I automatically dialed 911. I did not know the police was already outside of my house. So as I'm dialing 911 and talking to dispatch, my daughter at this point, he then turns on his lights. Other police have came. So she's thinking it's the ambulance outside, but no, it's the police. I open the door. They got their guns drawn on us, telling us to come outside and get on the ground. They didn't come in immediately like they should have. I'm telling them that my husband been shot. He's on the ground dying. They didn't come in immediately. They basically wanted us to get down on the ground. They was arguing and yelling at us for about a good 3 minutes until they went inside the house. It took the ambulance about 10 minutes to come, which is ridiculous to me because we stayed 1 minute away from the hospital.
Wow.
They did not administer CPR. They came in, and this is what I'm looking from through the body cam. They came in, they seen my husband on the floor, they seen somebody armored, they seen the guns, they looked around the house, and then at that point, I didn't see nothing towards them giving him any like life CPR training or anything.
So this happens. They're forcing you all out to lay on the ground, and you said it's how many people? It's you,
It's me, my cousin, my nephew-in-law, and our 3 kids.
And how old are your children? If you
My children is 12, 11, and 9. And then that's the children that live here in the house with us. We also have 3 other daughters. Their ages is 15, 16, and 19.
So your 3 children and the others witnessed their father transition.
Correct.
As these bastards outside making their way into the situation.
Correct.
So what happens from there? Okay,
from there,
yes.
They bring him out the house from there, and I could already tell he was gone, how the way that he was laying, and they had to fix him. They made it look like he wasn't gone already, but he was gone. They didn't let me ride to the hospital. They had me and they put my kids in a police cruiser. They wouldn't let my kids stand with me. They put handcuffs on my cousin and my nephew, immediately put them in a police cruiser. They had me standing outside in the cold, in the rain for an hour and a half while they kept going back and forth in and out the house. They would not let me ride with my husband to the hospital.
So they had you standing outside. I'm sorry. They had you standing outside in the rain while this is going on?
Yes, it was like semi-drizzling. It was very cold that night. The kids didn't have no socks on, no socks on or shoes. They wouldn't let them go back in the house to get socks or shoes or coats. The way that they treated the situation was ridiculous. Nobody should have been in handcuffs. Nobody did nothing wrong to be put in handcuffs.
So they handcuffed all of you?
I didn't get handcuffed. They handcuffed my cousin and my nephew-in-law soon as they walked out the house. They didn't handcuff me, but they would not let me go to the hospital with my husband. They had me stand outside for an hour and a half. They wasn't questioning me or anything. They just had had me standing there. And then an hour and a half later, they say, oh, okay, well, you could go to the hospital with your husband. At that time, you already knew my husband was dead.
So what was the quote unquote reasoning for them handcuffing your cousin and nephew?
They didn't give a reason.
It was just black men. So let's make sure, just in case they get brolic, we can't handle them.
Exactly.
Okay. So from there, okay, he's pronounced deceased, and our condolences. Let me just say that I'm asking these questions. I'm not trying to sound insensitive. I want to point that out. I'm just trying to get the story across because I'm sure I didn't know about it. And shout out to the comrade who put us in touch. I want to just say that.
Yes.
Yeah, but what is the what goes from there? I mean, is it an apology? Is there? I mean, what took place?
I haven't gotten anything from anyone from the city from the mayor, from city council. No one has reached out. We've been to several city council meetings. They claim, the mayor and some city council claim that they have been out here. But I know that for a fact is a lie. I work from home. I'm always at home. So if you came out here, you would have had a chance to talk to me. I would have had a chance to talk to you, put a face to your name. After we said something about that in city council meeting, one person from city council came out to address the situation, and they didn't really address it. They just gave their condolences that if I needed anything, just to let them know. But as far as transparency and accountability, it has not been held at all. It seems like the city of Canton is trying to brush this underneath the rug. 17 days later, no, I'm sorry, 16 days later, the police officer, which his name is Robert Huber, he was back on the force doing detective work in the office 16 days later. I questioned him about that at the city council meeting. They told me, well, we have to get our hours out of him. And if you look at other police stations and things like this that happens, they don't put them on paid administrative leave. They put them in a detective office where they're not around people. That's not true. If you kill somebody and they doing an investigation, you're supposed to be on paid leave until the investigation is over. You're not supposed to be working, getting any hours done, doing desk work or light duty work.
Man, this is like, I mean, it's totally insane. And Ohio itself has a serious history of police terrorism. You know what
Yes,
I'm
it
saying?
does.
We've had Samara Rice on the program several different times, a few different times, and it's been so many cases in Ohio and Lima, Ohio, and just all over. So needless to say, there's no charges being brought up. There's no, I mean, do you have an attorney working with you? I mean, what's happening?
Yes, I do have an attorney. We did file a federal lawsuit against the city of Canton, and the police officer. There's also other charges that has been brought upon him, but they haven't charged him yet. The investigation is still ongoing. April 1st, it'll be 90 days.
Hmm. Hmm. So what are you hoping for at this particular stage? Because it's been, I mean, we're looking at, like you said, it's going on 90 days. So it's been 3 months since you all were robbed of your loved one right at home, right in, like you said, what would be considered a secured fence. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? You're not even, I mean, what are you looking to achieve at this point?
At this point, I'm looking to achieve justice. I want the officer, Robert Huber, held accountable for what he done. He is described as a highly decorated officer. So as a highly decorated officer who have trained other officers, what was going through your head when you just ran your behind over to that fence and started shooting? What was you thinking about?
I mean, that is just, I mean, the thought is so insane that you would fire into a area that you don't even know who's behind the fence. And we know that Black folks in particular, we like to celebrate. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? It could have been a cookout out there. It could have been, because it's fenced in. So you're not expecting any issues.
At all.
Yeah, I mean, this is like totally insane. What I'm gonna ask you to do, if you all have any websites or phone numbers of folks that can contact, if you don't have them now, don't worry about it. We can definitely, get them to share.
I have them now. We have a website for my husband. It's called justiceforjameswilliams.com. There's also a Facebook page called Justice for James. And there's a GoFundMe page on GoFundMe called Justice for James Williams as well. As far as like in the community, what I've been doing every week is we have protests twice a week, on Wednesdays at 12 p.m. and on Saturdays at 3 p.m. we have the protests. So we've been trying to call out all of the cities. Even if you can't come to Canton at 12 o'clock in your own city, just go down to your police departments and stand out there and protest for all the fallen lives that ended due to police brutality. We're also having a vigil this Saturday at my house, which is 2307 10th Street, Southwest, Canton, Ohio. 44706. That's at 7 p.m. So if anyone wants to come out and support that, we're doing that. Friday, we're having a rally downtown Canton Central Plaza at 5 p.m. as well.
Right on. But we'll definitely make sure that we stay on top of it. For folks who are in the Canton area, if you're in Ohio, make sure you check out our sister out there. Again, the website is justiceforjameswilliams.com.
Yes.
Okay. And is the GoFundMe and everything on that site as well?
Yes, all the information for the GoFundMe is on that site as well. I believe it's underneath the donation button.
Right.
It pulls up all the information about the GoFundMe as well.
No doubt. So we'll be having our producer clip this part of the show as well, and hopefully we can assist in promoting it. Keep us in touch. Keep us in the loop, in the know, so we can support. Have you gotten any support from any other victims' families at this time?
Yes, and I appreciate that. Miss Bickerstaff, she is from Cleveland. Her brother got killed by the police years ago. I want to say about 20 years ago. I just went to Cleveland with a family. Her name is Alicia Kirkman. Her son was killed by the police 14 years ago. His name was Angelo Miller. I also reached out. Another family reached out to me. His name is Emmanuel. His son was killed 2 years, about 2017 to be exactly. He's still fighting for justice. I also met a lady named Kimberly Vaughn. Her husband was killed in Akron 2 years ago, Muhammad, and she's still fighting for justice for her husband as well. So I've been connecting with a lot of families these past couple of weeks here lately, which is a good thing.
No doubt. And it's sad because you just named close to, if not 5 different victims of police violence and terrorism. And it's unfortunate that these are names that we don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, each year folks don't realize that over 1,000 people are murdered by police in the United States, and it's like most of the names, every now and then you might get a glimpse of maybe 4 or 5 of these particular victims of police terrorism per year. So the small amount of folks that we hear about is a drop in the bucket compared to what's really going on a national and international level. We appreciate, definitely appreciate you coming on, appreciate your strength. And, we would, of course, all the sorries and condolences in the world, can't change the situation, but just know that there are people that are with you, and that you don't have to suffer and go through this alone, so,
I
definitely
appreciate that.
Yes. So stay strong, keep in touch with us, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you. I will do, and thank you for having me on the show.
Without a doubt. All right. Be safe.
You too. Bye-bye.
Peace. This is the Remix Morning Show. We was just on board with Marquita Williams, whose husband, James Williams, was murdered by Canton police. And we want to make sure that all our remixes, the whole BPM family, riot starters, etc., we get behind, this situation, and make sure you go to our website and support them. James Williams, justiceforjameswilliams.com. Remix Morning Show. We'll be right back at you.
Such a deep story.
Yeah. I hate these stories. You know what I'm saying? I say that, because it's like we want to shine light on what's going on. You know what I'm saying? We want to shine light on brothers and sisters who are being terrorized and brutalized and murdered by the state. And not just, like I said, the popular cases, because we often hear about the popular cases, but as we just talked about, sister just named like at least 5 good people that we don't even know perish due to the state's authority in their hands. You know, so the blood is on these people's hands, and we have to we have to hold folks accountable some way, somehow.
Yeah. And you know, every time this kind of stuff happens, our people are always in situations where they are exercising rights that we're supposed to have, right? Like some people, I am sure, will say, well, maybe he shouldn't have been shooting off a gun. Oh, but I thought we were supposed to have Second Amendment rights in this country. I thought we had the right to bear arms. And you can't tell me that there aren't a bunch of hip redneck good old boy hillbillies in the woods. And I'm saying that because I know it's true, because I know some of them in the woods busting off New Year's Eve just like this man was, and they don't get shot and killed by the police. I've been to plenty of parties with a bunch of white kids, and some they're playing around with a gun and they shooting off a gun. Cops didn't come and shoot those people up. So I mean, this whole idea that there are things that we should not do to keep us from getting killed. No, fuck that. We're supposed to have Second Amendment rights in this country. He had every right to have whatever he had in his home. Whatever he had and whatever he did not warrant a fucking death sentence. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, I think you're right, because people, and the problem becomes for the larger community that even works on these issues, is that people want a perfect victim. Like they want somebody who had their hands up. They want somebody who got choked out, because it shows us as the victims. And it's like we're the victims in many different ways and in many different scenarios. So, maybe I don't want somebody shooting up in the air, whatever like that. But if the police clearly had opportunities to get this person to stop without the shooting and killing and murdering them. And I think that's the thing. It's like there's like you said, anything can turn into a death sentence for us. Any
Right.
activity can turn into a death sentence where it doesn't happen for other folks. And I think that's the thing. And then some people don't want to put out it was like, I remember a couple of cases, even when we were doing civil lawsuits around police activity. And, part of the thing that you have to do, because you have to present it to the white federal judge. And then you have to put this case like, okay, so who do we put up there? We have to put up somebody who's got a regular job. Can't be somebody on the street. We got to put up somebody who ain't got a record. Can't have somebody who got a record up there representing people who shouldn't get brutalized or stopped by the police. So it's at time after time, we have to play these games in order to say, look, we're just quiet folks who don't want to be killed kind of thing. It's like, no, every now and then somebody gets loud. Don't mean they need to get killed.
Right.
There's got to be other ways in which these things can be handled if we had a truly just system, which we know we don't. And I say, for me, that's part of the thing why I think it's so great to have for Kalonji, for you to get dig this story up in some ways, because again, this is not something that's gathering national attention, because otherwise stories like this, no one lifts up, because they see the person who's who got killed as somehow contributing to their death. And that's what they say, and that's what they see in their mind, and that's what we're trained to think. So we don't want to lift up these stories. So again, I think it's great, even if it's hard, that there's a station like this that tries to lift up these stories, because otherwise they just won't get told.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, I'm never amazed at the actions of the state, but it's just like, I mean, this motherfucker looked through the window. You peeked through the window, and then went ahead and shot this man and killed him. I mean, everybody knows that New Year's Eve, 4th of July, all this imperialist bullshit, we know there's going to be shots fired if you live in the hood in particular, up in the air. Now, I'm not pro, let the record reflect. No, I'm not pro busting guns for the sake of busting guns. That's not my thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't really like guns popping off in the city, but it's a reality. But I don't think that anyone would deserve to be shot because of the fact that they decide that they want to celebrate in the way that, unfortunately, most Americans, quote unquote, celebrate. You know what I'm saying? They fire shots in the air. That's what they do. You know what I mean? But for you to kill this man in front of his family, you have these 3 children who are preteens and younger who have to witness their father die on the fucking floor. And then witness these pigs come into their home, put them in the patrol car, handcuff their relatives, and have the grieving widow, their mother, standing outside in the rain. What type of traumatic impact do you think has been left on future generations? And this is one out of many. And you wonder why we angry? You wonder why folks are wilding the fuck out? But then you have cowards talking about slapping somebody, slap the police. You understand what I'm saying? Slap the motherfucker that's brutalizing us and terrorizing us. Then I'll respect you. But all the other bullshit is just the sidetracking of the slave. Anyway, we got the ear doctor coming up, and hopefully he could take us to a better place for a few minutes.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. Anyway, check this out. We're gonna take y'all to music school, as you can see right here. This enormously big apple. I don't know where it came from, but that's what it is. So let's get to it right here on the Remix Morning Show. Yeah. That's what it is. Make sure y'all go to blackpowermedia.org. We got them fresh teas, them fresh mugs, all that. Go there and check us out. Support the crew. And so you could be looking fly in the Black Power Media gear. Why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? So anyway, let's get to it. What I want to do right now is I wanted to give you a sample. That's right. When we talk about samples, we talk about music that's from the past being redone. It could either be the voice, it could either be the song itself, the whole beat, or it could be pieces of it. So what we're gonna do right now is I'm gonna take you back to let's say 1956. That's right, 1956. That was the way back. We're gonna take you to an artist who is known as Screaming Jay Hawkins. Now check this beat out right here and see how it was reused. All right, there you go. That one right there is no other than he's a wild looking dude. That's right, Screaming Jay Hawkins. And how did this beat get redone and reused? Let's take it up to 1997 to no other than this right here.
I got to chicken. This goes out to you. This goes out to you, and you, and you, and you. This goes out to you. This goes out.
That's right. Kicking the door, waving the 4-4 on Biggie's Life After Death album, which came out in March 25th, 1997. That's right. Redone by DJ Premier. That's right. So that is how music stays around and how hip hop has allowed artists to still be recognized. So big up to all those producers out there that's still using the old and bringing it to the new. So that's how we do. And that is your sample for the day. All right, let's get back to what we do right here on the Remix Morning Show. All right. Yeah.
I never made the connection.
All I heard is Papa don't hit him no more.
I never made that connection. That is wild. And I love Screaming Jay Hawkins.
And you know that song by Screaming Jay Hawk was known for bringing forth rock and roll, as in when they point back as to that song, That's one of the most inspirational songs to bring it forth rock and roll. So
I'm sorry, y'all trying to be serious about this? I had a joke. You didn't hear my
No,
joke?
it's okay. You get joke.
You didn't hear my joke though?
Yes, come on with the joke. Come on.
No, I said that was Chris Rock's theme song now. You know what I'm saying?
Boom.
Get it?
Yeah.
That was good. That was kind of good.
Chris Rock was abused.
My bad. Too soon? My bad.
Anyway. Thank you, Screaming Jay Ear Doctor. All right.
That's
Ear
what
Doctor
it is.
Hawkins.
Make sure y'all go to blackpowermedia.org and check out some of that fresh gear and get you a mug, get you a shirt, all that. We doing it for y'all. Let's go.
No doubt.
Cool.
Yes. Shout out Sister May on the promo. That's nice. You know what I'm saying? And we appreciate you all. You guys have been tapping in, supporting the merch, gear, and all that good stuff. We appreciate that. You know what I mean? We got mugs on the way, shirts on the way. You know what I mean? Might throw some hats and jackets, binoculars, sweet potato pie, all kinds of stuff.
Nope. You've gone too far with sweet potato pie.
Dog sweaters, none of that.
We'll put that in the mail. We'll ship it.
with a slice eaten out of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm sending it.
Get mine on all your BNC stuff, your Black News Channel.
That's cold, man. That's on BNC.
Why did I mean, before we move on to the next story, I just wanted to chop it up a little bit more about that because I just saw them as sort of like a chocolate covered CNN. They didn't really offer much alternative news. They didn't drive any story that was not different from what I would see on CNN. Maybe there were a couple of stories about Black folks, of course. And I think they even featured something that we did as community movement builders on the channel once. But, in the very end, as like, you mad because the billionaire didn't give you your money? What did you think the billionaire was going to do? You're a billionaire. You got rich by stealing money. You're not giving you that money.
Right. So and what can you talk about? The dude, he owned a franchise. What is it? NFL team?
NBA team.
No.
Yeah, NFL. Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, the dude was doing what he do, and
but
it's like,
I'm sorry. Hold on. How are you bankrupt and you own an NFL team? What is he doing? What else is he doing?
Billionaire bankrupt and all bankrupt.
That doesn't.
He only bankrupt for that company. I'm sure. I'm like, I'm sure I'm not sure, but I'm assuming he was bleeding some cash. And so that's that. He's like, I'm getting out of this one real fast.
No, these Negroes ain't getting me no money.
He's like, never. I'm not making enough dough.
These damn BPM cats is gaining on us, and they ain't got shit.
He's like, I got no clear path to making money. Exactly. I'm giving it up.
Shit. If he bankrupt,
like Black News. I don't care about no Black News. I thought I could make a profit off of this shit.
Listen, if he saw our budget, he'd step out in front of a train. If they was bankrupt, he'd be like, "What?" He's like, "What?"
He's like, "I'm not going to that business model no more." But I'm sure all those folks will happily, fall on their feet. I'm not too much worried about them. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. But speaking of banks and bankrupt, y'all like how I did that, huh? Banks.
Yeah. I was like,
well, we heard about maybe about a couple weeks ago where they talked about the brother from Panther. What's his name? I can't even think of his name. The director,
Ryan Coogler,
who they was talking about, was accused of robbing a bank. 20 minutes away, here in the beautiful Cobb County, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta, cops mishandled a mother after mistakenly identifying her as a wanted bank robber.
Oh, what'd she do wrong? I guess she walked wrong. She must have walked looking like she was a bank robber.
Yeah, well, you know what she did? She stopped to get gas because her teenage daughter wanted to use the bathroom. So she said, "Go in there and use the bathroom, baby." And while she was in the bathroom, this took place.
New at 6, a woman wants answers from Cobb County Police after she says she was placed into handcuffs at a busy gas station for a crime she didn't commit. It happened at a racetrack gas station on Windy Hill Road. Fox 5's Eric Perry has the story.
Family members tell me it was simply traumatizing, especially for the kids. They saw their mother in handcuffs, and there was nothing they could do about it.
Wait, walk away.
No, I'm not walking away. Don't touch me.
This cell phone video captures the frantic moments a daughter tries to help her mother in handcuffs.
I was using the restroom, and then I walked out, and she had guns pointed at her.
It was supposed to be a normal day for Deandra Hawkins and her kids running errands, doing laundry, but things took a turn when the family stopped at the racetrack on Windy Hill Road to use the restroom.
About 5 minutes later, the police pulled up with their guns out and said, "Get out the car."
That's when the chaos unfolded. The video taken by a UPS driver shows the mom in handcuffs. Then you see her daughter in the pink hoodie being pulled away by police.
I panicked. It was really traumatizing. You know, my son is autistic.
The question is, why? Hawkins claims Cobb County police mistook the mother of 3 for a wanted bank robber and never said why she was being handcuffed and detained until afterwards, when police eventually released her at the scene.
The suspect that they were looking for was tall and slim, and that didn't fit any of us. They separated us and made us sit in cop cars. My son was on the ground.
Attorney Kayla Bumpus represents the family. She says they want better training for officers.
We think it needs to be some retraining, some sensitivity, because we just can't understand why the officers will be trying to separate.
Fuck that lawyer. Fuck her and her training some officers. I understand she's the family's attorney, but fuck her. And this is not a training issue.
This is what happened when you get a lawyer that has no politics and is not clear.
I wasn't even angry today.
I mean,
I know you didn't said "fuck you" like 5 times. Every other story.
She did. At first, I thought she was talking about me. I was like, "What did I do?"
I'm getting out the way of her. Like I'm ducking and diving. I'm fuck you. I was like, "What?"
Like, fuck you. Jackie was like, "Fuck you, fuck you." I was like, "That damn." I mean, come on, man. It's like, no. I mean, look, I don't know what a bank robber looks like, but goddamn, come on, man. I mean,
it's hilarious the way the reporters kept covering it or kept stating, as the mother says, it's like, did you investigate before? Did you see that is exact? It wasn't the mother's version of events. It was the actual events. The police stopped her and falsely accused her of being a bank robber, put her in handcuffs, dragged her daughter away. They did all of that. Right. It wasn't simply a like in the mother's version of events.
Yo, and I go to that gas station that's around the corner from my children. I mean, literally, you know what I'm saying? It's just like it's in the neighborhood, you know. So I'm like, shit. If they can pull her out and say she looked like a bank robber, what the fuck I look like? A bear? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, a killer whale in the middle of this. Like he is a killer whale, harpoon him. I mean, what the fuck, man?
It's an orca.
Shoot him. He's a crocodile with locks. Look at them things. Shoot him.
A violent orca.
Yeah.
On the streets.
Yeah, crocodile hunter and shit. I mean, come on, man. I mean, but this is 20 minutes away from where Ryan Coogler had his situation, man. It's just like, I mean, look. From the story that we just with the sister Marquita Williams that was just on to this shit right here. If you, the viewers, if you think that you have a chance of surviving America as a law-abiding citizen and not having to encounter these motherfuckers in some way, fashion, or form, some member of your family, friends, or associate, then I don't know what planet you live on, man. This is like, I mean, come on, man. I mean, a bank robber. I mean, like, god damn. And I appreciate her daughter. Her daughter, like, man, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all bugging.
Yeah. You handcuffing my mom. It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah, like, look, man, you can do a whole lot of shit, but you don't fuck with nobody's mother. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I mean, come on, man.
And you know, look. I think all of these cases that we talked about with, you know, the police acting the way the police do with us, it shocks me. I think that people still believe that there is any type of behavior that we could ever exhibit that will keep us from getting killed by the pigs who look at all of us like criminals and menaces and threats to society, regardless of what we do, how we conduct ourselves, how we act, what we say, what we wear. I don't understand why in 2022 Black folks are still talking about what Black folks should not do so that we don't get killed by the cops. Y'all are out of your damn minds. And to sit here after, especially Miss Marquetta talked about her husband, and to put that on her husband after that woman went through what she went through, not even to mention that the man had gone back in the house, put the gun away in the house, and came back outside, and that's when he was shot by the cops. And folks still want to talk about don't be shooting guns. Well, what you gonna say to this woman and her daughter? You're gonna say to her daughter, well, you don't be rolling up on the cops like that while they're trying to falsely arrest your mama. What?
Yeah. Don't go using the bathroom in Cobb County. You know
what?
And I know
you can't even say don't leave your house, right? Because you can't even, because they'll come in your house and claim they thought it was their house.
Yes.
And shoot you there. So it's not like you get an alternative. You could be sleeping in your bed and
you could be in
you'll
your car
get shot while you sleeping. So it's not like there's a large alternative. And for her to, and the attorneys only, her big thing, I don't want another fuck you from Jackie, but her big thing, was more training. They've gotten all the training they need because that's what they were trained to do.
This is a reminder. I used to think Jackie was, we knew Abdus was off the chain. We figured Jackie was, well, maybe she's the sane of the bunch. I'm sorry, Abdus. We know exactly what the hell is going on now.
I was, and just, after he passed, I was like, oh, life gonna do me like this? Okay, well, fuck it then.
All bets off. But that right there is a reminder, because when folks say join an organization, you have to have an organization that is politically structured, that is on point, that has a concrete analysis, and it can take you the way you need to go, not just any organization. When you are hiring a lawyer, you just can't get a Black lawyer. You just can't get a lawyer that's a woman. You got to get a lawyer with some politics, because that shit, they need more training. I mean, first of all, if you know anything about Cobb County, Georgia, I have friends. I was living in Cobb County. Man, they like, man, you live in where? Shit. I'm like, well, it's still Atlanta. Nah, bro, you got to meet me at such and such. Black folks are still afraid to go to fucking Cobb County. You understand what I'm saying? And rightfully so. And these pigs out there, like I said, I know them well. You know what I mean? I try to stay my ass away from them. I don't hang out there for reasons like this. You can't even go to the damn gas station. I mean, like, I'm still confused as to did the bank robber have a goddamn Honda Odyssey? He had a van? I mean, like, what? With his daughter on the side? She might take the church collection plate, but not the
wild thing is the description. The description was tall and thin. That lady won't neither of those things.
She told you that. She said they don't fit nobody over here.
She was Black. That's all they saw. It's like, she was Black.
Yeah, there's no training that can fix that.
No.
Because that's what the training is. It's like Black, short, tall, fat, skinny, light, dark. We don't give a fuck. If it's Black, that's a suspect. That's the training already. So you can't train against that, right? Look, you just got to be prepared for it. You got to fight the end case. You're not going to think it's going to end like that. I mean, get your money. I'm not mad at her. Get the money, but don't be put, like you said, don't be put that out to the community. That once again we're going to just get some training for these cops, and somehow that's going to change the whole game. Oh, that's what was missing. They didn't get that training. They didn't get that formal training again. Like that's the issue.
Hands up, don't shoot. Pull your pants up. It's just the same old shit. It's like, let's spin the bottle and see where it stops. Okay, lady, you should have had your pants pulled up. I had on a dress. You shouldn't have wore a dress.
Right.
Your dress was too short. Yeah, I mean, these motherfuckers are they're incredible.
It's why aren't you on the plantation? Right. I mean, that's all. That's what it is. You have no real rights. You shouldn't be owning a home. You shouldn't be driving a car. You shouldn't be sleeping in your own bed. You should
be
be
in
on
colors only bathroom.
Yeah, that's it. That's where they want to really take it. So
yeah. Well, anyway, as we say in the city I come from, fuck the police and their corporate sponsors. What else we got on here today? Since we see how the police are so nice to people, and but you have Herschel Walker out here talking about he tired of CTR
because we all Americans. Oh yeah, if we all Americans, how come some of us who are supposed to be just Americans, how come some of us can be treated like that by the police and others of us aren't?
Listen, he come his ass to Cobb County. I bet you, I know goddamn well they'll change because they ain't gonna stop to see what your name is, nothing. Because like Kamal just said, you black. As soon as they see that complexion, it's a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Herschel will be like, good job. If they pull Herschel over, Herschel, good job, officer.
Well, what did Skip Gates say when they arrested him on the porch of his house at Harvard? I'm 1/8 white. I'm one of you.
Ain't that some shit? They arrested. But check out the two Americas. Skip Gates, he gets arrested, and they have a beer summit with the president. Yoruba gets arrested for breaking into his house, and they just slam him. You slam him on his head. You know what I'm saying?
The president don't intervene.
The president, shit.
Yeah.
The chief
but
of
it
police.
just shows, even when you got Negro status, it's only so far it's going to get you.
Absolutely.
You know, it's only so far.
You're still a Negro.
Yeah, you got to suffer the consequences of living on the ground. So, but you might get a little special treatment every now and then, and that sometimes is enough for some of those folks. But in the end, you still got to come outside your house. Or you come outside that bitch house. They're like, that ain't your house.
Exactly.
I don't care who you are.
Fuck what you get. So what you got keys.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That picture of you and your wife was like, I don't believe that.
Yeah. You broke in and put that shit up there.
Some neighbor called the cops, and the cops aren't just like, you ain't never seen this man before. He teaches at the but we're all Americans though. Okay.
Yeah, listen.
The neighbor was probably like, I thought he was the help. I thought he was the butler. So when he came in at this late hour of the night, I was like, why he coming over to this late at night?
Love, I was in the subdivision one day, and it's gated. And when I turned the car on to take off, I see mad cop cars in the joint. So I dip around, come up, didn't leave the complex. So I tried to go down the private street. I get down the street and I see the pig car flash his lights on, and he coming fast. I'm like, you're not gonna stop me in this private street because nobody can see me. So I stop over by the parking area. So the cop's like, let me get your name, registration, so on and so forth. I said, what's going on? He said, what are you doing over here? I said, I live here. He said, you live? I said, listen, hold it. Before we go there, ring any one of these doorbells over here and ask them if somebody with dreadlocks over there. Ask them, do they know me? Because all these good white folks over there, they're going to say they know me. Just go ahead, before you shoot me, just go ahead and start ringing this shit. Because I'm like, randomly pick somebody. Don't even fucking come with this dumb shit. I know damn well they know I live here, but you know what I'm saying? But
they verified it 15 times. Like, he lives here? Wait a minute.
Man,
he lives here?
Man. Then he's gonna tell me, tell me something. Well, this is private property. You can just go ahead on. Yeah, motherfucker, I knew that when you ran up on me.
Because they're never wrong, because that's the thing. It's like they're never wrong.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how many times they're wrong, it's just never. You shouldn't have done this. You shouldn't have done that. I remember there's a video when they did the tip maneuver, and this pregnant woman spinned over her car. The car is like backwards, upside down. And as he's going over to the car, he's like kneeling down, and the white cop is like, you saw I was chasing you, right? You should have stopped. I'm like, she's pinned in the car that you just slammed because you're going to pull her over for what? And her latest thing was same thing. She was like, I was going to pull over in some dark place or whatever. I was pulling over someplace that I felt was lighted or safe, or there's other people around, kind of thing. But you can't, but our reasons, our rationales don't make no difference to them. It's all about they're never wrong, and whatever they tell you to do. And the other part of your story is you're right. Like, you need a white pass, right? You need the white person to verify. It's like, no, he lives here. He's good. Was like, that's all.
He's one of ours.
Yeah, that's all we need.
I was ready.
That check-in for the white person to be like, hey, no, they good. And right away the cop is like, oh, my bad.
Listen, man.
Black cop, white cop, Latino cop, Asian cop, don't matter. As soon as a white person verifies or vouches, all of a sudden it's like a different ball game. It's like, oh, okay. That's good.
He was mad that I lived there too. He's like, I said, look, just go ring the bell. Ring that anyone you want to ring. Like, look, man, all that shit right there, we ain't about to go through all this. You know what I'm saying? We could simplify this right away. Or I'm going to yell my neighbor's name out real quick. Miss such and such.
Like, Miss Daisy.
Exactly.
Come out here and verify.
Come out in their slippers and with a rolling pin. Who's fucking with my Kalonji? Let Kalonji go.
They'd be like, I saw you on the news last night, Kalonji.
If I was home, I would have came out my house.
Yeah, so shout out to the white neighbors. Shout
out to all. Louis Armstrong's famous line. Louis Armstrong had a line, and it was like, "How do you get successful in America?" And he's like, "You become some white man's nigga." That was his most honest statement he ever made. He was like, "Like that's how I became successful. Some white man put me on, you know what I mean? Like I was a great jazz player or trumpet player, but I had to go through white folks in order to get put on."
You know, that is why Will Smith wasn't rushed out of the Oscars, because of the fact that
he was white verified, he was stamped white,
he's already certified, so he's good. No problem here. Like, you're white enough for us. Now, certain people would have went up on that stage, they'd have drugged their asses all the way out.
Apparently, he trying to get his ghetto pass back or some shit. Like, you can't talk about my woman. Smack for that.
That sounds good in theory.
I mean, the whole thing, and I'm glad we looped back around to this, because the whole thing is like, black men don't protect black women, and I wish we would stop saying that. I mean, I know that's not the experience a lot of people have had, and but the thing is, it's just such a weird situation, because I don't feel like Will Smith was doing any of that to protect his wife. I just feel really weird that here's a guy who, sat on a stage while his wife dragged all of their laundry out in public for ratings for her little red table talk. And he sat there and he took that shit crying. And now he's gonna be all up in arms about that somebody made a joke about his wife's hair. Come on, I don't buy it. I mean, at least I could say Abdus was consistent.
I mean, you had a line you had to cross, a real line.
That line,
real shit where you might be in danger.
That line was there all the time for everybody. It was not, like some things are okay, some things are not.
I mean, if Chris Rock had walked off the stage and got up in Jada's face and was like, "You bald bitch," I mean, smack the shit out of that nigga. Smack and stomp him down. You're right, but it's a comedian. It's a comedian on stage.
Wow.
Happy jokes.
We're gonna get banned for that one tomorrow.
But I mean, I think the thing that really honestly, okay, here's the thing that really pissed me off about the whole thing was Will Smith's acceptance speech. When he gets up there, and because I read it, because I'm a journalist and I got to read this shit, so I and I'm reading it and I'm like, did he really say that the things that God is calling me to do in this moment? I'm like, bro, God called you to
slap somebody.
Really? I mean, I'm not saying, look, Jesus turned tables over in the temple. So I could feel that sometimes Jesus might compel you to do that kind of thing. But God called you to play a guy who left his whole family. And
he tried to act like he was doing it in the name of the Williams father, because he started saying, "I'm a protector of my family." And then they showed the daughters. They were like, "Ah, shit, why are you dragging?"
Really apologized to all the white folks.
Why are you dragging us into this?
Yeah, then you got Denzel Washington in the background, and Tyler Perry and Denzel Washington saying, "Oh, be careful, because when you're at the top, that's when the devil comes and gets you." I mean, okay, the devil's done some shit, but
He
I mean, the devil's like, yeah. First of all, I don't have time for this.
Yeah, the devil slapping that goddamn soft. He in bad shape. We ain't got no no fury.
I know. We get Chris a little credit. Chris took it like
such a ridiculous mess.
I'm gonna get. He didn't even stumble backwards off of that shit.
But you know the crazy shit too.
You're going to get smacked. He got smacked the right way. It's
quick question, Kamal and Kalanji. How would you have reacted if somebody joked on your wife, just kind of disrespected you sitting right there?
It's not disrespecting. It's at a comedy show. It's a show.
Wait.
It's a show.
I get you, but this ain't the first time she's been called out by Chris Rock.
It was a joke. It was another. If you look down the long list, I'm not going to let you talk. I'm going to talk over you. Right.
With your male ego and you being in your feelings, what would you have done?
You don't do shit.
You would have stood there and looked at your wife. Look at you
Chris Rock joked about. How many people has just Chris Rock joked about? How many people has Will Smith probably tried to joke about on air? And how many people? If you turn yourself over to a Hollywood world where you commodify every aspect of your life, and somehow it wasn't even a great joke. It wasn't even a hard-hitting joke.
It wasn't.
He made a joke about a haircut.
Back to the question.
I gotta be a man now. I'm gonna show y'all I'm a man now.
So you would have sat there and did nothing. That's what I'm asking.
Because it's nothing to do. The dude Chris Rock just went around. He joked on one person. He went to another person. He went to another person. He went to another person. What is there to do? You have
what would you have done?
B.
You know, I don't want to incriminate myself.
It just makes no sense to me. I don't.
Nah, I mean,
it's indefensible. There's nothing.
It's
the male ego at that point with him. It wouldn't allow nothing else.
Nah, but with me, I say, you know, two things. One, I used to do booking for comedians back in the day. So motherfuckers was funny. They're gonna say certain shit. It's gonna be like that when you go to a comedy show. I know folks talked about the whole alopecia thing. I didn't know she had it. I just thought she got a haircut. You know what I'm saying? Which I assume Chris Rock did as well. I hear the whole, this is the second time she came at him. She's a comedian. With me, depending on what it was, you know, if I would have went up there and slapped him, it wouldn't have been that damn soft. Let's just say that.
So you would have.
Plus, I can't say because I don't know the background. But if you were disrespecting my woman, then you know that would be a whole nother program.
That's my point. Until y'all in those shoes, I don't want to hear shit about what he should or shouldn't have done.
Think about
what you're talking about.
I'm not concerned about what he should or shouldn't have done. I don't care what they did to each other. I just think it's weird that, you know, people are putting the whole, well, you know, his wife looked at him and he had to do something. This was the same wife who sat on a show and dragged that she screwed some other dude and got all entangled with it and had her husband sitting there in tears shaming this man.
Her son's friend.
This is the same. Come on now.
She's a MILF.
Y'all,
Yeah, I don't even want to drag Jada into it. I'm like,
yeah,
I do.
She rolled her eyes. She didn't jump up on stage.
Hey, listen.
I'm just like, yo.
Jackie's my defense when it comes to anything dealing with women. I'm not saying nothing. Jackie. I'll rub behind Jackie. Everybody to pin it on.
They shouldn't pin it. This is all, to me, this is all Will Smith, sort of like in some childish rage around what he should or should not be doing. Sit your ass down, get your award, get your check, go home and live your life. How many goddamn shows you been to in this hours?
But I mean, it just
makes no sense whatsoever to me.
So ridiculous.
Yeah. I just don't think there's any justification. Just makes no sense. Like that's the intellectual reaction to a comic making a joke at a show. That your intellectual reaction is that I need to go up. I need to jump up out of my seat, run up on stage, and smack a motherfucker at a show. Again, if he's bombing on her, that's different. That's different.
Hey,
but intellectually, I just don't see anything that he did to be like, oh, it's time to throw blows.
Hey, last thing before we get out of here for this show, and we just saying, if he didn't do anything, well, we've been calling him a little bitch.
No.
I'm not calling her. I ain't never called her. I don't.
People get
You
bothered.
would have been like, yo, he is
Because
busting
I
on your
don't
lady. She
care.
rolled your eyes and looked at you like, you gonna let him do this
that's
shit?
what
And he ain't do
happened.
nothing. We wouldn't have been like, oh,
You're
he's
telling me
just
you can't distinguish between real life and a TV show that you're on, basically, a place where you're sitting? I mean, you just got to have a higher intellectual ability to me to distinguish between when it's time to throw because somebody's trying to really insult you, your family, your friends, as opposed to some Hollywood shindig bullshit where you're about to get an award. If you can't distinguish between that, then you got higher psychological problems. And that's what honestly, I think it is. Like you just got other psychological problems. You
and I think that's more to it. I think the thing is, and I was not joking with the whole therapy thing. Of course, I think the therapy is good, but I think that just with all the table talk shit and all of that, I honestly think that when he laughed and then he looked over and saw her face, I think that, again, his ass didn't want to get fronted off on that red table talk shit again. That's my whole shit. I think it was a question of ego at that particular point. And
ego would have been like, baby, calm down. It was a fucking joke.
Yeah, he wouldn't
you heard
that night from Jada neither.
Well,
you're in show business. That's what happens.
Hold on. People are saying that the joke was violence against Jada. What was Will Smith, and I'm not defending anybody. I'm just calling out the fact that Will Smith sitting there at that red table talk, tears in his eyes as he's listening to his wife talk about this entanglement that she had. That wasn't violence against him. Y'all better stop. Right? Y'all gotta stop this.
Go, Jackie.
Tell him, Jackie.
Go, Jackie. Oh no, here doctor gonna try to get over here on our team, Jackie. Nah, stay down there.
Your doctor was like, I would have smacked him too.
Exactly.
I just sit on the fence to watch. I just sit on the fence to watch. That's all.
Hey man, you can't be riding the fence, man. We got, there ain't no gray area. That's political education 101. Huh?
There'd be no such color of gray if it wasn't for black and white. So come on.
Well, look, we are way past our time.
Definitely.
That's why it's our show. We can do that.
True that.
I gotta go. I got.
You're not trying to end the show. My bad. I'm saying.
Anyway,
I want Jackie to come smack me.
You've been checking out the Remix Morning Show where Jackie has smacked the shit out of Kamal on stage if she got to.
I would never do
and
that.
And the ear doctor disagree, you could get it too. That's how we do around here on the Remix Morning Show.
I might take a smack from that.
Till next time, we out of here. Black Power Media.
We met.